Hello and welcome to PSM Speak. This video on employees pension scheme series, this is the fifth one, and this is on the minimum pension. First things first, has the government decided to hike the minimum pension from 1,000 to something like 3,000, 6,000 or 9,000 or whatever? No. Government has not yet taken any decision. That is very clear by government's own assertion, whatever be the news around us. In a recent parliamentary question in Rajya Sabha, a honorable member Mujibullah Khan put a straight question to the government asking why the government refused to accept the proposal from the Ministry of Labour and Employment to hike the employees' Provident Fund pension. In reply, the Minister of State for Finance, Mr. Pankaj Chaudhary said, keeping in view the huge financial implications, fiscal constraints aggravated by COVID-19, increase in EPFO pension was not found feasible. That means the recommendation was not accepted. And this, when did he say? And 20 December 2022, barely a week back. So not yet a decision is taken on this. But there are proposals. As we can see from the questions in the parliament, the discussions, the debates, the news. Why? Even the member referred to the recommendation of the Labour and Employment Ministry. So let us go into detail what's happening around, what have been the recommendations of some committees, the struggles, the demand, to what extent they are demanding, justification for that, and what should we do for that. First, the parliament questions, recent ones. There have been questions for quite a long time to raise the minimum provident fund pension. Recently, Mr. Shanmugam, a DMK member, he demanded hiking of the pension from 1,000 rupees to 9,000 rupees. So did Mr. Elamaram Karim. He is from Communist Party of India, Marxist. He too asked for increase in the minimum pension to 9,000 rupees. Together with this, he also asked to make this a universal pension. He asked for universal coverage of both organized sector and unorganized sector employees. Similarly, on 15th December, Mr. Mastan Rao Bida, to his question, the answer was that there was a proposal from 1,000 to 2,000 rupees and that was recommended by the high empowered monitoring committee of the Labour Ministry, but no decision has yet been taken. Coming to the Labour Ministry, the Standing Committee on Demands for Grants 2022-23, 30th report of the Standing Committee presented to the Parliament on 15 March 2022. This committee said the pension 1,000 rupees was too inadequate. It should be hiked. It also sought information why that was not being increased from the Labour Ministry. In response, the Labour Ministry said that there was a proposal to increase to 2,000 to 3,000 rupees from 1,000, and this was recommended by the Ministry's constituted high-powered monitoring committee, which was set up by the Ministry on 4 January 2018, recommended for hiking 2,000 rupees, not only the member pension, widower pension, and of course there are 3 conditions suggested. There shouldn't be no more premature withdrawals, number 1. And since you are asking minimum pension hiking, so there should be some increase in the minimum contribution also. Thirdly, this committee suggested that because the pensions are out of the pension fund, the government should support to the fund. So every year government should make a budgetary provision for supporting the increase. The Ministry of Labour and Employment also stated to the standing committee that whenever there was proposal for increase, the Employees Provident Fund organization got all the pension funds evaluated, and it found actuarial deficit every time, so the support should come from outside, impliedly from government. Then who are articulating the demands? In recent times, the Provident Fund Pensioners Association in its 17th meet in Kerala recently, it demanded the increase from 1,000 to rupees 9,000, including DA. So the pension should be indexed to the inflation. If some money is given and it is not increased, and the old age will suffer if it is not done. Then the Employees Pension Scheme 95 National Agitation Committee, it has given a 15 days notice to the minister, Mr. Bhupendra Yadav, Labour Minister. If government is not going to accept within the set time, the organization announced that it was going to launch an all India agitation for the demand of increasing minimum pension to 7,500 rupees. The basis for the 7,500 rupees of this EPS 95 National Agitation Committee was the Koshyari Committee report of 2012-13. Bhagat Singh Koshyari, that was the Committee on Petitions. In its 147th report, it recommended for hiking the pension to 3,000 rupees then. So now the EPS 95 National Agitation Committee is asking 7,500 rupees. And Bhagat Singh Koshyari Committee also asked for raising the government contribution to the employees pension scheme from 1.16 to 8.33%. Then what are the grounds for asking higher pension? Is it feasible? One thing, those who are getting just 1,000 rupees and less than that themselves know the difficulties to survive with such a meager sum. But there are apparent grounds to demand that it should be increased. Let us look at some examples which are relevant. The Pradhan Mantri Shemayogi Mandhan launched in 2019. It is for unorganized sector workers. The pension recommended was 3,000 rupees to be paid after 60 years, after one attaining 60 years, whatever. Then, as we have been observing, I have also given the details in my previous videos that several state governments are giving destitute pension, old age pension, some 2,000 rupees, some 3,000 rupees, whereas employees pension scheme, the minimum is 1,000 rupees. Similarly, an ad hoc committee set up by the Central Board of Trustees of the Employees Provident Fund organization itself, that has recommended again rupees 3,000 pension, universal pension, both to the organized sector and unorganized sectors. So there are several more examples that 1,000 rupees is too small, and 3,000, 6,000 and 9,000 these days is not too big a sum. Government should enhance that. Then what are our demands? Demand 1, the minimum pension should be increased all at once, immediately. Why? The septuagenarians, octogenarians, they can't wait for the government decision. After it, government is considering, but it might take some time to come out with its proposal to raise. But it is difficult for the people who are already the pensioners to live with 1,000 rupees pension a month. A democratic government, a welfare state should not neglect one generation completely. If it's not given to them immediately, that's not going to benefit a lot of them. So our demand number 1 is immediate hike in the minimum pension suitably and reasonably from that meager, paltry 1,000 rupees Demand number 2, bring everybody under pension scheme. Not that those up to this wage are eligible, entitled for Provident Fund, and those above that ceiling are not entitled. And third demand, after all, the pension is contributory. Contributions are collected from the employers on behalf of the employees, and government also making allocations out of budget. So design the scheme in such a way that the pension is not a paltry sum like 1000 rupees or 1500 rupees. It should be equal to half the last drawn salary of the employees. So redesign the pension scheme in such a way as to give 50% of the last drawn salary, I am repeating, as pension. Also we can add fourth demand. When minimum pension was made 1000 rupees, many people did not get that benefit on the plea. This I am going to explain in my video on my answers to the questions. Many people were outside that 1000 minimum. They still getting less than 1000. The grounds are they had prematurely withdrawn or some other thing. So now if a pension sum is raised to 3000, 6000 or 9000, whatever, that should be given to each and everybody irrespective of whether they had withdrawn some money or whatever. And as an incentive for those who did not withdraw, give them additionally 1000 or 2000 rupees more, nothing wrong in that. Instead of reducing the minimum pension to some of the people, give higher sum to those who did not do that. The social security is the society's responsibility, the government's responsibility. That the government, the society should realize that the old age social security is its responsibility. The ways should be found to mobilize resources, contributions and other such sources, but not to cut down on those grounds. Because right to life is a fundamental right and the responsibility is that of the government. Now, what can we do and what should we do? We should express our solidarity for those who are agitating for minimum pension hike. We should see that the message reaches to the government, the planners, policymakers, the legislators and all others. And in my own humble way, I am trying to focus on this, as you have seen in my videos here in this channel, also in my Telugu channel Antarardham. Let us hope that our aspiration reaches to those people who can take decisions. Now, while I am concluding this video, there is a news that the Employees Provident Fund Organization, their central office at Delhi, has issued instructions to its additional Provident Fund commissioners, zonal offices, regional offices to implement the Supreme Court of India's 4 November judgment, though partially pertaining to that 44 para 9. Not going to those paras and numbers, what exactly it meant was the R.C. Gupta judgment. You may recall that 2 judges bench of the Supreme Court said there was no cut-off date before 2014 when the ceiling was 5,000 rupees, 6,500 rupees. When they gave option, that was declined, refused. So now those who are paying, they and their employers, over and above the ceiling 5,000, 6,500, and those who exercised their option and those whose options were rejected by the Provident Fund authorities, they are now entitled. And the Supreme Court said these things in the R.C. Gupta decision of the Supreme Court should be implemented within 8 weeks from 4th November. Now the Provident Fund Organization Central Office has given instructions to its regional officers to implement them as directed by the court. It's a part of the judgment. Then you can see the details on the website in the circular of the Employees Provident Fund Organization. I am giving the link in the description below. It is the duty of the Employees Provident Fund Organization regional officers to let everybody know about this and guide them to submit their options, show all the proof required that they submitted their option and that was rejected, and then the contribution both by employees and employers, and refund in cases where it is required. So the EPFO is going to, I think they should, as per that circular, guide the members, and members also should make their own inquiries and submit their options within the time that is allowed. Thank you very much for so patiently watching. Please subscribe to this channel. As you know, subscription is free, yet it gives me a lot of support to get you more videos of this type to you more frequently. Thank you.